Hello and welcome to Zambia Today. I'm your host, Christeta Chizuka. On this edition of Zambia Today, we look at how some youths have taken up several responsibilities in a bid to ensure that they contribute to social and economic development. Today, we have in the studios a youth from Kembe constituency in Central Province, Chivombo District, who has refused to be weighed down by some of the economic and social challenges. Paul Mutengwa, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Madam Christeta, and thank you to the viewers.
Thank you. Now, would like you to tell the viewers who you are, where you come from, when you were born.
Thank you very much. My name is Paul Mutengwa. I was born on the 16th of February, 1990. In Chiefly Teta's chiefdom. So yeah, I went to school just from there at Munyambi Primary School from grade 1 to 3. Then I moved to Malombe Basic School where I did my grade 4 through 9. In 2006, I passed my grade 9. Then I went to High Ridge Secondary School in Kawe, where I completed my grade 12 and passed. So then I came back to the farm, started helping my father here and there at the farm. So basically, that's about Paul.
Well, Paul, it's like this Paul Mutengwa is a youth who is really focused at ensuring that the origin where you come from is really identified. Would like you to tell us a little about Kembe constituency. What are some of the unique characteristics of the constituency?
Thank you. First off, let me be quick to mention that I'm proud of being part of Kembe. And pulling me out of that area would be a little bit of a challenge to me because I love being there. So some of the outstanding features that are in Kembe is that we are proud that we, at some point, we produced one of the, former Speaker of the National Assembly, Patrick Matibini. I came from Shiala Primary School right there in Kembe constituency. We also produced, later Lieutenant General Shikaposha, who is the Home Affairs Minister. So then right now we have the current deputy, I think, PS, Mr. Mapushi, is from there. So there are a lot of, outstanding and, influential people that came from that area, and that makes me proud to be part of that area. Sure.
We'll come to the question of how those people you have just mentioned have impacted the lives of youths in Kembe. Now, how is it like growing up in Kembe constituency as a youth?
Well, something you have to know is that Kembe area has no industry. Kembe area is not an urban, it's very rural. So growing up in Kembe, it's sweet in the sense that you have to live within the spaces of our ancestors. You have to till the soil, you have to do this, you have to practice, like your living you must feel it. It's not so urban, so to say. It's not even urban, so most of the things, they are natural. So we do farming, we take care of village chickens, we have extended families, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Now, a number of youths, especially in urban areas, you find that each day that comes, by 10 hours, some of them are already drunk. They are fighting at night, they are not sleeping, going to steal other people's properties. Now, what are some of the responsibilities, especially as a youth growing in a rural society?
There are two things that stands to me to be the influence of the life of a youth.
Yes.
Okay, so number one, there's somewhat misconception of education is the key to success. Sorry. So education is the key to success, but then you have to discover what kind of that key. So if the interpretation that the key of education should be employment, then I think there is misconception there. Why is education the key? Education equalizes, it creates opportunities, it opens your mind, it widens your opportunities and the capabilities of you doing other stuff. You know, understand if you're taking care of the chickens, you need to understand what drugs am I administering to the chicken. That requires education. If I'm planting tomatoes, at what stage am I spraying what? That requires education. So education equals to employment, that's a misconception. So that is another area. Then the other side is that reception of anything is determined by the base. Where was I brought up from? What kind of environment? What kind of parents am I interacting with? What kind of a platform are they creating in my head? That will determine how I'm going to accept the community, how I'm going to accept these challenges, and how I'm going to fight them through. So finding the youths, you know, in the street drinking as ill as 10 hours, I mean, you cannot. That is not something to be blamed on the government or on the parents or on adults, like we don't have something to do. But I think it's time where you need to take up a responsibility as a human being. Like my late father used to say, like being born from a poor family is not an issue. But then dying poor, giving an excuse because you were born from a poor family, then something is not right. Because when you are above the age of 18, I mean, you're an adult. So what? You have option, you have all the energies, you have all the capacity. As long as you have good health, your sound mind, you have all what it takes to, you know, to stand up and stand on your own. So, I mean, when you are youth from 18, between 18, 35 years, we have a lot of energy. I'll give you an example of a car. It's very sweet to hear people congratulating somebody, say, hey, you are very hardworking, you bought a car. I mean, you're sitting in the car driving. You don't understand what runs in the engine. There's a lot of fire, there's a lot of burning oil, there's a lot of burning fuel that is running there. There's a lot of energy that is put in the engine. But then that energy must be conveyed in a proper channel for it to drive a vehicle. You see what I'm saying? So as youths, at my age, I'm so energetic. I have a lot of energy within myself. But if this energy is not channeled in a proper channel, then the results are always negative. That's why you find me blaming, you know, I can be blaming others. No, are you all doing okay because you were born from a well-doing family? You are doing okay because of this. But that's not time for me to give an excuse. It's the time to realize what kind of energy do I have, and what are my passions, what is my interest, who am I wanting to be in the next how many years? So, yeah.
If I may ask, are you in any income-generating activities in the constituency?
Pretty much. Yeah, starting up. You know, I do basic stuff.
Yes.
I do a little bit of some farming there. You know, I don't forget taking care of the village chickens, because at one point they took me to school.
Wow.
So, and from grade 9 to 12, this is something that I would give credit to my mom. She literally paid for my school fees because of sweet potatoes.
Tell us about the chickens and the sweet potatoes, how you managed to...
We have a culture, you know, Lenje, we have a culture when a child is born. I found this, it's not me who has it, because I found it.
Yes.
When a child is born, give a chicken to a child. You know? So those are things that are brought to you as a gift.
Okay.
But why do they bring a chicken? It means that is something that you can start from without requiring any capital in it. It is a responsibility that is given to you at a very, very small age. That these are things that you need to take care of, these things will take care of you. So the village chickens, how much do they need for you to raise village chickens? Nothing, just need water. So it's not something that I can say I don't have money because I don't have resources. No, but there's a village chicken, somebody can give you 2 of them. Then you start from there. Sweet potatoes, you just cut, somebody will just give you, you know, 1 branch. You keep multiplying like that. It does not require fertilizer, it does not require any chemicals, it's just something fruitful. But it's on demand because people want to buy from you. So like that, you're making money from there. It's not a one-day thing. You keep doing it with a lot of patience and dedication. Consistency is number 1. So,
I'm just trying to be inquisitive. It's like you have tapped a lot of knowledge from your parents. Are they still around?
Mom is still around.
Okay.
My dad passed on 4 years ago. May he so rest in peace. Yeah, but I remember Dad, and I loved Dad for one thing. Dad never, I don't remember him giving me any coin in my hands. I don't remember that. Okay. From grade 8 and 9, I said he paid for my schooling and other stuff indirectly. Okay. Dad was just a peasant farmer, but he had opportunity to get animals, to buy some animals around, and he had big land, a garden, water. So he sat us down, and that time I think I was only about 15, 16 years old. It's like, listen, I have the resources. It is out of using these resources, that's why you're going to get what you want. You have to make a choice. You want to school, here are the animals, there's the land, there's water, there's an engine. So whatever you want to do, you raise from there. So he supported us a lot with my sisters and my brother. By the way, just to mention something, by the way, we are born 11 of us in a family, 9 ladies and 2 guys. So I'm actually number 10. But in that area, Dad always encouraged us to use what was available.
Yes.
To generate whatever I want. And up to this end, I don't regret. There's nothing. Dad owe me nothing, even in his grave. Regardless of, I may have been struggling here and there, but I don't blame him for anything, because it taught me to face down to the soil. That is where everything comes from. And this is the culture that I've grown up with. I love it, I enjoy it. And I want my children to grow in the same pattern.
Wow.
Sure.
That is great. Youths will be celebrating the National Youth Day under the theme Zambia 860, Be the Change. What change are you going to be in Kembe constituency, especially that it's a rural community?
The change does not come because somebody said it. No. Change comes because there's interest, one, there's need, you feel it in yourself. I've seen people that have gone to the hospital, diagnosed with asthma. Big man, you are asthmatic, so you have to stop smoking. Okay, it's the doctor talking to the patient. In the absence of the doctor, the same patient will go behind and start smoking. It's because inside, it's not there. Yeah. So whether you preach to them, if it's not there, it's not there. So there's a lot of things that I would want to see in Kembe constituency changing. But number one is the attitude of us youths. Number 2, it's casting a vision, trying to see something which is invisible right now. You're seeing it in your mind. Who do I want to be in the next 5 years? Okay, because as youths, maybe as human beings, we don't normally pay attention to the combination of our age and the behavior. There's some what I can call intellectual disability. I'm 34 years old. It is very possible for me to say I'm still young. Okay, I'm still young when I'm given a responsibility. I'm still young when I'm given a task to do. But I'm not young when it comes to alcohol intake, when it comes to smoking, when it comes to children production, when it comes to sex and other stuff. I'm not counting myself as a child. But when I'm given a responsibility, then I'm counting myself as a child. So years, they just run through without sometimes, realizing. That's why I think we are called, they call it Wachikura Bwangu. Because that period, why are we called Wachikura Bwangu? It's because that period, there's a lot of energy in us, and there's a lot of temptation of playing within that area because we can do anything.
Yes.
So that time elapses very fast. That's why I call it Chikura Bwangu, because that period is a production stage. You're supposed to do a lot of things, but because you are taken, in a blink of an eye, you find yourself at 40 years old and you haven't achieved anything. I would love to see my fellow youths in the community, in Kembe, changing the attitude, changing the mindset, casting vision. Because at the end of the day, it is not what you have, it is what you want. Curiosity and interest, brings about innovation. You start wondering, but by doing so, there's innovation which is running in your head. You want to create something. And when you start doing something, anything that we see, it was once imagined. It was an imagination. Somebody started imagining, and then they started trying to put it on the ground. So if I start thinking to myself but I think I can one day be the area member of parliament for Kembe constituency, even if I don't have anything at the ground. When I'm starting talking when I'm starting to walk, spiritually I'll start driving all these resources that are supposed to support my idea. So it is starting to walk not waiting for right time. There's no right time to start something. The right time to start something is to start. And then all these resources, they'll be put towards your vision. And even people will get interest in helping you. I would say something. In 2021, I had no money, but I had interest of farming because I like producing watermelon and tomato.
Wow.
But I had no fertilizer, I had no chemicals. But I was like, this rain is just so sweet and I've learned. Man, I'm just going to go and do it. So I went there, started poking my holes, preparing the land, getting manure from my neighbors, put the manures there, planted my watermelon. So the next, my neighbor, the village headman, senior headman Kapopo, he comes and says, this is so sweet. I was like, yeah, but I have no direction. Because right now I don't have fertilizer, I don't have anything. He's like, don't worry. There's a D compound just sitting in my house. I left it out of, so you can use that one and pay me. I was like, what? You know, but he was not going to give me that if he had not seen the efforts as put on the ground. So when you put, effort, then people get, it pulls their attention, their attraction. People get attracted to what you're doing, and they're willing to help because they're seeing you're putting something. But if you're just going to fold your hands and say, I'm a youth and I'm waiting for my right time to come, guess what? Everyone will fold their hands and say, okay, we'll see what it's going to do. At the end of the day, things will fall apart.
Wow.
Sure.
Wisdom coming from Kembe constituency, they are from a youth. Now, 6 years ago, youths like yourself, both male and female, struggled hard to get to where we are, to get to the independence of this country, the peace that we are enjoying and the unity. They were youths like yourselves. Just how do you think youths of this country, as we celebrate the 60 years of independence, should reciprocate or should uphold that peace and unity which fellow youths at that time fought for?
Let me start from this point. Madam Christeta, whatever you are doing right now, whatever struggles you are going through to gather a little bit of your survival, resources, getting this put together. If you do not have time to explain that to your children, the struggle that you have gone through to gather all those resources, the time you die, God forbid, I'm not saying you die soon, but the time you go to rest, things that you have spent years gathering, they'll be smashed in a blink of an eye. It's because they do not understand what you went through for you to gather that. And that is the problem that I'm seeing. That is the problem that I'm finding. Right now, I'm able to take care of my father's resources because he had time to sit down with us and say, listen, for me to get this bicycle, this is what I did, this is what happened. So you can feel the pain he passed it through for him to gather that. And that will create that sense of care because you actually feel like you are the one who was going through it. So the youths, us youths of nowadays, we were not there when our parents were fighting for independence. But we are enjoying the peace right now.
Yes.
Okay, but if there's a gap, if there's a huge gap between the heroes and the heroines and all those parents that were there, if there's a big gap between us, then it will be very hard for us to find value in upholding the peace and in taking care of the resources because we don't understand, we just feel like these things fell from heaven. So, I mean, right now as a youth, what I've tried to do is I've come up with a group of odd senior citizens.
Yes, I would like to hear more about that.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a social worker, by the way. So I work with people, I work with my personal statistics around. So within my village, in Kapopo village, I found that 65 to 70% of the couples that are saturating the village are what I would call infant couples. Okay, they are couples that are under the age of 45, so to say. And to me, those are, I think, to me they appear like the infant couples. Why am I calling them infant? Because they have not reached the stage of having that quality wisdom to take care of, to interpret, to translate to the children. But they are parents, so they are in a little bit of that space where they're still a little bit playing, but their parents, they have not realized they're parents, they have not realized they are adults, they're still in that class.
Yes.
And then only a few are actually above 60, 70 years. And those are the people that have the wisdom of the area of life of Zambia, where it is coming from. But then you find that the gap between these and then these infant couples, it's very wide. It's very wide. And like that, the distraction starts from there, because there is no transmission of wisdom. There's no transmission of history. So I've come up with this, we call the group Fill the Gap Elders Council.
Okay.
It says, go back to culture Zambia. So basically, these are old men and women. We bring them together with these infant couples, like once every month. You know, sometimes it depends on the activity. We bring them twice. We just meet a group of infant couples. They meet with these old couples. They come together. They start sharing. Because sometimes as a youth, I have 4 children at my age. Do I know what it takes to raise a child? Do I know what values to plant in a child? I don't know. But my mom knows because she has experience. But do I have time to stay with mom? No. Because as youths, we are busy looking for money. We are busy, competing with other resources. We are forgetting to plant values in our own children. So that is the gap we are trying to say. Fill that gap. Now you old parents need to sit with these infant parents so that you mitigate the history that we're going to put in this one. It will fall to the next generation. But as long as there's this gap, we find that we remain a people without culture, cultureless. We adopt the culture that we can't even manage. Then that's where the Bible says you are neither warm nor cold, because you don't know where you belong to. So that's our fight, and this group is coming up very well. It's not registered. I don't even know what the direction to take, but I know to say it has to be there. And the headmen around, they have appreciated it, and they like it. They want to support it. I can't wait to see one of the days, this group getting supported and getting to grow bigger. So.
How many people are in that group? We're talking about the adults who are helping the infant couples.
We started with 6,
okay,
because in the first place it was not making sense. So this is how it started, just a little bit.
Yes.
I've been observing these commemorations: Youth Day, Women's Day, Independence Day. You find that most of the people that I found in that commemoration, they're of the young age. Even the Women's Day, just observe. There are old women there, but not many of them. They're just in that middle class. So I was like, okay, this Women's Day, I'm going to celebrate it differently. So I had a little bit of some resources. I invited these old men, old women, very old.
Okay.
So luckily, 27 of them came out. So we made chips for them, we did this, we played old music, some old play, just, as a way of counseling because of this BP, stress, and all this kind of stuff. So we played all these old things, and they enjoyed it, they liked it. So at the end, you introduce something in their mind, and only 6 of them, they got it. And then they started tapping me. Hey, you said this, and they say, okay, this is the situation, this is the problem that I'm going through as a youth. I cannot fix it, but I know if I brought it to you, you fix it. You start fixing me and fix others, because I feel that this is a need and it's missing. So right now the group has grown. We are like 21 now. Sure.
That's 21 adults.
21 adults, including the headmen. They have joined hands together, like this is what we need. And I think like this, we are going somewhere.
Is there an impact already being felt?
Oh yeah.
From that?
Oh yeah, very much, very much. It's a big one. It's a big, within the area, it's not very outside. We have some referral, people coming like, I have a problem with my marriage. I would like to see the Elders Council. How do I go there? So, you find these adults, they are going, sorting out issues in homes. And people are interested because they're coming at a different angle not because it's new, but it's something odd which we never encountered. So because they're coming with their own counseling of their own way, it is appearing to be new and very working. Because at the moment, it's very difficult for me. It's rare to find me advising my fellow youth to take care of his wife properly if there's an argument in a home. The encouragement is that you will see a child, just let her go, because she's the only woman. That's very common among us. It only takes adults to say, excuse me, you don't change women like that. The first wife is your wife. The second one, that's your business. But you find that among ourselves? No, we don't have time for that. Youths, we don't have time to correct each other. When you get your salary, you get your money, you go drink, we don't have time to correct each other. We have time to encourage it, no matter, how bad it is. So
I was actually coming to the issues of divorce in the country. Last year, we witnessed about 36,000 marriage divorce applications, of which some of them were granted as many as 21,000. So I'm trying to relate that to the group that you have in the rural community, Kembe. Do you think this is the time for us as a country to go back to our culture and ensure that we embrace our culture and tradition, to ensure that the infant couples you're talking about hold and have stable families?
Yes or no, it's a double-edged sword. I would say yes, in the sense that I understand African marriage. Maybe not African because I've not been to Kenya, so I don't know whether they support the same or not. But as a Lenje, I believe that marriages in the past, they did not exist between a man and a woman. Marriages existed between families. Why families? It's because what matters is the background. Parents need to understand what kind of a home is that. Does that home have culture? Does that home have values? What kind of people are they? Depends on what you want to see your children be or your grandchildren be. Let's talk about human rights. Human rights is something that is very sweet. Only if where they are falling on, it's feta. What am I meaning by feta? It means there's already a culture. For instance, if you're going to tell me like I have a right to own a phone, that's my right. I have that right. Okay? But if I'm not cultured well, that phone becomes a problem. So then that right becomes a distraction. Why? Because my mind is driven by the phone. It's not my value which is driving the phone. So, of these days, one of the reasons that I've seen causing a lot of divorces is because when we are marrying, when I'm looking for Mary to marry as a youth, the agenda, I think it's wrong. That's what is driving. When I'm approaching a woman, like I'm getting attracted to this person, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm not finding a difference between a girlfriend and a wife. I don't have time to calculate what kind of a home do I want to develop and what kind of, a woman do I need to be around my children? What kind of children do I want to have? So at the end, we get attracted to the education standards of women or men. Some ladies, they fall in love, they fall in marriage. Why? Because, Paul is a working class, so I want to get married to somebody who is working. So somebody's not getting married to me because they love me, but because I'm working. At one point, I'll stop working. So that means the moment I stop working, then the agenda is closed.
You talked about the song that you produced when our former MP, Lieutenant General Shikapwasha, left us.
Honorable Shikapwasha tends to be one of the family members outside. So he came to attend that album launch just as any other person. But then we were lost because I was like, hey, Radio Maria is here to capture this and to, this is on air. And we don't have a guest of honor. How do we launch this album? So I went to him, was like, Dad, can you do this? He was like, you don't even have to ask. Just tell me. The conversation which was supposed to take like 30 minutes, within seconds it's done. And I don't want to mention how much he gave us. It was huge, depending on the situation which happened that time. From that, it tapped my heart. It left an indelible mark on my heart. Like, what kind of this man? He was just down to earth. He was nothing. And from that, it has been ringing in my mind. So when I heard of his death, it pained me like very bad. Let me mourn him in my own way. So I went to the studios with my friends. So I started playing instruments. That song, it was not written anywhere.
Kindly just sing a few lines for us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. It goes. Chinshin chonda kabisha kumenso anu no mikoa. Chinshin chonda kabisha kumenso anu no wakangu. Chinshin chonda kabisha kumenso anu no vana vangu. Chinshin chonda kabisha kumenso anu no mikoa. Sunu mwantumisha kubulongo no vana vangu mwevo. Sunu mwantuma kubulongo no bashika mukoa. Sunu mwantumisha kubulongo no vana vangu mwevo. Sunu mwantumisha kubulongo no vana vangu mwevo. Sunu mwantumisha kubulongo no babyanji mwe. Sunu mwantuma kubulongo no bashika mukoa. Chinshin chonda kabisha nchomwakarirwa kundekerela. Chinshin chonda kabisha nchomwakarirwa kungangisha. Chinshin chonda kabisha chakala kunkalika panshinebo. Sunu mwantumisha kubulongo no bamaloba we. Sunu mwantuma kubulongo no bashika mukoa. Chinshin chonda kabisha chakala kuntola kumulao. Chinshin chonda kabisha chakala kuntola kubami. Chinshin chonda kabisha chakala kuntola kubapairiri. Sunu mwantumisha kubulongo no amaloba mwe. Sunu mwantuma kubulongo no ashika mukoa. Sunu mwantuma kubulongo no enakembe mama.
Thank you so very much. It has been such an insightful discussion coming from Kembe constituency. There, a youth, Paul Muntengwa, who's literally taking the mantle on his own to ensure that he contributes positively to his community there. I've been your host, Christeta Macha, and on behalf of the entire production team for Zanis, thank you so much for being with us.